In this video, I'll be talking about mean, median, mode, and range. These are measures of data, and people use data to model the past and also to predict the future. Not always correctly, but sometimes very accurately. So here I have a question here. I looked online and I saw the number of times Alex Smith was sacked each game during a 6-game stretch last year. I actually added a number here, so we're going to call this a 7-game stretch. A 7-game stretch last year. So he got sacked 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 0, and then 9 times. So if we were asked to find the mean, or the average, of the amount of times he got sacked in those 7 games, we would need to add them up first. So we have 0 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0 plus 9. Then after that we divide by the amount of pieces of data there are, and there are here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So when I add these up, I'm going to get 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. So we actually have 16 divided by 7 here. And that's going to be 2 point something. So that goes in twice again. So 2.2, and then 60. That goes in about 8 times. And we'll just stop there for now. So the average, we can say, is about 2.28 times per game, so a little more than twice a game. When we want to find the median, that's the middle number, we first need to put all the data in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to put the 0 down, and notice every time I use one of these pieces, I'm going to cross it out so I know that I don't use it again. So I'm going to use that 0, then we have a 1, and I have a 2, and I have another 2, and I have another 2, and I have a 9. So that's in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I always count at the end to make sure I rewrote them all, and I can see that they're in order now. Now to find the middle, or the median, what you can do is just start crossing things out from either end. So, oops, I wanted that to be blue. So we can get rid of that one and that one. We can get rid of this one and that one. We get rid of this one and that one, and that'll leave us with a median of 2. The mode is the number that occurs most often, or it doesn't have to be a number. It could be the thing that occurs most often. If you're talking about like the color of shirt that Abercrombie and Fitch sells, maybe pink would be the mode, or blue, or something like that. So in this case, the mode, there's 2 zeros, there's 1 1, there's 3 2s, so that's the mode. The mode is 2. It's not the amount of times it shows up, it's which number shows up the most often. So it's 2. And the range is the difference between the highest number and the lowest number. So we have the lowest number here was a 0, and the highest number was a 9. So the range is going to be the highest minus the lowest. So in this case, pretty simple. We have a range of 9. Okay. What do I have down here? So here we have some numbers, and we're going to try to find the median of these. Oh, actually, let's put another number in here, like 4. So if we wanted to find the median of these 6 numbers, we're going to do it similar to what we did above. So we're first going to put them in order. So 0, 2, 3, so 0, 2, 3, and we have 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 5. Okay. Now to find the median, I need to start crossing out the ends. So 0 and 5, 2 and 4, now there's no middle number. See above here, when there's an odd number of pieces of data, we have 7. There's always a middle. When there's an even amount of data, there's always 2 things in the middle. So to find the median in that case, you take the average of the 2 middle numbers. So the average, remember, is you add them together and then divide by how many things you're adding. So 2 in this case. So 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So the median of this set of data would be 3.5. Alright, so let's say you're working at a pizza place like I did in high school, and each week you write down the number of pizzas you sell each day, and that way you'll know a couple things about the next week or the next day. You'll need to know how much dough you need to make, how many employees to have based on the number of pizzas you're selling. So let's say on these 4 Thursdays in November, you sold 95 one day, one Thursday, 103 the next week, 102, and then 35. So you, as the manager of the pizza place, you need to know, well, how much dough should I make? So maybe you would like to figure out the average. Okay, so to get the average here, you're going to add all these up. Excuse me, I think I'm catching a little cold here. So we're going to add them up. We have 103, 102, 95, and 35, which is about, let's see, 10, 15, 12, 13, about 335. We're going to divide that by 4 to get the average. So 335 divided by 4 is going to be about, let's see, 8, it's 32, 15, so that's 3, 12, 30, so it's 83.8. We'll say that's about 84. So we're selling an average of 84 pizzas every Thursday. So if I have Thursday coming up, should I make 84 and make enough dough for 84 pizzas? Maybe, except something happened here with this 35, and it seems a lot lower than the rest. This is what we would call an outlier. So I'm going to put a little arrow here. This 35 is an outlier. An outlier could either be a lot lower than the rest of the data, or it could be a lot higher than the rest of the data. In this case, it's a lot lower. And what an outlier does is it skews the average either too little or too high, one way or the other. In this case, too low. If we just average these 3 numbers here, we would probably get something close to 100, which really is close to all 3 of these numbers. 100 is close to that, and that, and that, but not this. Now when we get an average of all 4 of these, of 84, that doesn't really show the data very well, because 84 is lower than most of these, and by a pretty significant amount. If I make 84, enough dough for 84 pizzas, and then people come in and buy 103, that's not going to be good. But I also don't want to make too much dough, because then I'll have to throw it out. So we have to think about this. A lot of times what people do is when they get an outlier with a bunch of data, they'll just throw it out. They'll just say, you know what, let's just pretend that wasn't there, and then we can average the rest, and I think we get a better prediction of how many pizzas we're going to sell tonight. So we can kind of get rid of that. Another option that works well with outliers is the median. So if we take these numbers and put them in order, so 35, 95, 102, and 103, the median is going to give us a more accurate picture of how many pizzas we think we're going to sell. So 95 plus 102, that's 197, divided by 2 is in the high 90s. What is that? 98.5 or something like that. You can check that on a calculator, but I think it's about 98.5. And I think that's a more accurate prediction of how many pizzas you're going to sell this Thursday coming up. And so you should probably make dough that would accommodate that. Now, as a business owner, you don't want to send away customers when they come to you. So you're definitely going to want to make a little more than that. So you might think about, maybe making enough dough for 105 people or pizzas, 105 or 110 or something like that. But I think you should definitely not take this 35 into account, because maybe you could think about this. Tell me in class tomorrow why you think maybe they only sold 35 pizzas on this Thursday. So yeah, when you have an outlier, it's often better to use the median as a prediction for the future rather than the average, because this such a low number or such a high number is going to throw off the average too much. All right, let's try one more of these here. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data. So we got here 15 pieces of data, and we're going to find the mean. So we're going to add these all up first. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. When we add them all up, and we're going to divide by the amount of data. So we had 15 pieces. This is not going to go in evenly, so I'm going to put a couple zeros here. So 15 goes into 21 one time, and 60. Okay, I guess I didn't need that many zeros because that went in evenly right there. So 1.4 is the mean or average. The median, remember we had to put these in order from least to greatest. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 zeros, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 1, 2, 3 ones. So 1, 2, 3. And some twos. 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 threes and a 4. So 3, 3, 4. Now to find the median, I'm going to start crossing out from either end. So I know there's going to be a lot, so I'm just going to start by crossing out 4 on each side, just to save time. And 2 more. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we can go one at a time, leaving us with a middle of 1, or a median of 1. For the mode, it's easiest to do this when everything's in order as well. So we had 5 zeros, 3 ones, 4 twos. So the mode is 0. And the range is the highest, 4, minus the lowest, which is 0. So the range in this case is 4. Now that's twice that the range has been something minus 0. It's not always 0 when you're finding the range. This just happens to be the lowest number in the data for both of these sets. So it's not always the highest minus 0, it's the highest minus the lowest. And that is it. Don't forget to fill out the form below.